Hey there folks, Scottsdale Travel Chick's sidekick here to tell you about our trip to Egypt and our cruise down the River Nile. This was undoubtedly one of our most memorable trips we've ever taken. The ancient sites are incredible and there's so much history to be learned. A big pro tip is that you really don't want to visit Egypt on your own. The driving is terrible, it's not particularly safe, and most importantly, you won't get all the historical details unless you hire a guide. The vast majority of tourists to Egypt also book what I would call the standard tour. That's where you visit the key sites in Cairo, then you take a cruise down the Nile to see the main historical sites. That's what we did in what we'll cover over 3 videos broken down into 3 sections shown here. Okay, let's get going. For our Cairo area video, we'll touch on the 4 primary sites most tourists will see. There are a few other sites nearby like Alexandria and Bedouin desert towns, but these 4 are the most visited sites. Just an interesting history note on Cairo itself. It's not a particularly ancient city. In fact, it has nothing to do with the ancient people and pharaohs of Egypt. First up, the Great Pyramids of Giza. These are some of the oldest things in all of Egypt and are actually in the Giza area outside of Cairo proper. They were built by the most ancient of the Egyptians, what we call today the Old Kingdom, which lived from 2700 BC to 2200 BC. Just think about that. These things were built over 4,000 years ago, and each block was moved by hand. The pyramid area is actually an entire site including a number of tombs, temples, and cemeteries, and also the Sphinx. Interesting point, to this day we are still not sure for what purpose the Sphinx was built. Another interesting pro-history tip, did you know that archaeologists now believe the pyramids were not built by slaves or Jews, but built by actual paid Egyptian laborers? Some were highly skilled and others were seasonal. During the months when the Nile flooded, farmers couldn't farm the land, so the pharaohs hired them to work in the off-season. Another final pro tip, during that flooding season, the Egyptians were able to float the very large stone blocks all the way to the base of the pyramids. However, from there, the experts still aren't clear how the Egyptians were able to lift them up to build the pyramids. Along with visiting the pyramids, this is also one of the famous places to take a camel ride. Pyramids here. Some crazy camels. That one was just dancing. There's a whole bunch of them here. Bars coming out in the desert there. Scottsdale Travel Chick. The next oldest site you'll probably see in Cairo is the Citadel area, including the Mohammad Ali Mosque. The Cairo Citadel is an Islamic area fortification which became the seat of the Egyptian government for almost 700 years, starting in the 13th century. In the 19th century, a new ruler appeared, Mohammad Ali Pasha, coming from the Ottoman Empire, and destroyed most of the historic buildings on the site and built new palaces and monuments, the largest being the Mohammad Ali Mosque. The Mohammad Ali Mosque is also called the Alabaster Mosque and was modeled after the Sultan Ahmed Mosque in Istanbul. When it was built, it was the largest mosque in the world at the time. Next up is Cairo's Grand Bazaar, the Khan El-Khalili Market. It's the most famous street market in all of Cairo. It was established in the Mamluk era and grew in importance during the Ottomans in the 1600s. The streets are narrow and filled with almost anything you could want. The area is popular with both tourists and locals alike, and there are goldsmiths to tourist junk to also some great food. But unfortunately, no magic carpets.
We are headed into the Grand Bazaar market here.
Yes, this is full of, this is all cafeterias. Web. Egyptians, the local people, and also the tourists, they come here and they enjoy. During the daytime, most probably, or most of the time, I'm sorry, it is the tourist people whom they come here, either Europeans, American, or the Arabs. But in the nighttime, especially in the holy month of Ramadan, Egyptians and the Arabs, when they visit Egypt during the holy month of Ramadan, they come here and they stay late, easy, till they do the prayer of the sunrise prayer at the Mosque of Al-Hussein, one of the very important mosques for the Muslims, because again it's the prophet of the grandson of our, it's the mosque of our, the grandson of our prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Local food is popular here in Egypt is beans, which called ful, or falafel, which is the ground beans, or and they mix it with some vegetables and it's fried in the oil. As well, this is mainly, you can eat it all the day, any time in the day, but usually it is a breakfast meal. Then in the evening time, this area is famous by the kebab, kofta, grilled meat, grilled chicken. Also, the Egyptians, they eat here the knuckles, which is something very important and very well known and traditional meal. We have it here, especially we have some famous restaurants famous by doing the knuckles here in Hussein area, as well pigeons, either the fried ones or the stuffed pigeons.
Pigeons, yum.
Everything you can ever imagine.
Excuse me, almost for free.
Mary's still on the cover, huh?
Yeah, no point.
He's lying all the time. Yes, it's how
Excuse me, you're looking for a reservation? This is complimentary. You want?
Not for me, not for me. Where do I get Aladdin's carpet?
Aladdin's carpet.
Can they sell those here?
Go to Will Smith. Or the Egyptian one, Mina Masoud. Also, it's all handmade job. All this man.
Our tour guide found us more local places to get a bite to eat. Maybe this is maybe more great for speed.
In Asia, they eat dogs, and we don't eat this.
Okay, so we're on the main street at this market, and our tour guide made us try some falafel. Which is this. It doesn't look so good, but it tastes delicious. It's a mix of beans. What is this? What is this mix of beans and
Vegetables.
beans and vegetables?
Beans and vegetables. Very delicious.
Last up is the Egyptian Museum. The Egyptian Museum is chock full of all things ancient Egypt. It has the largest collection of pharaohic artifacts in the world, lots of ancient coins and papyrus, many displays, the most important being Tutankhamun's intact tomb contents, and lots of dead people. I mean mummies. As of 2021, there will be a brand new Grand Egyptian Museum out near the pyramids, but this video covers the original Egyptian Museum downtown. Either way, they will have much of the same material on display. One of the most extensive parts of the museum is on Tutankhamun, otherwise known as King Tut. He was actually quite young when he died, and his tomb and its contents quite modest compared to all others that have been discovered, but even so, they're pretty impressive. Here's his golden wooden throne. And some more jewelry, as well as his fancy sandals. Some sort of fancy wooden chest. Lots of gold on it. Ceremonial sleeping bed. Even another chair. Make that two. Another ceremonial chair. And lots of other big fancy gold stuff. Throughout the museum, there's also a lot of ceremonial death masks like these, and a lot of ceremonial coffins. Some quite fancy, and some not so. I think I might have even seen some ancient Egyptian Oscar statues. And then there are the mummies. There are a few you can see for free, and then even more if you want to pay extra to go into an additional section of the museum. Well, that's the end of our first Egypt video covering Cairo sites. Please check out our other two videos on all the sites and temples we visited during our cruise down the Nile. Until next time, see you later.